Welcome to Let's Talk Evolution, the tech podcast where we break down current tech events for business leaders and individuals who need the facts fast. Today we have Priya, who is the AI project manager from AI Singapore. Hi Priya, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your role at AI Singapore?
Hey, Hari. Thank you for the warm introduction. I am Priya, as you said. I am the tech project manager at AI
Yeah.
Singapore. And what I do, my core role is to do with delivery of minimum viable models with our
Mm.
industry partners at AI Singapore. Yeah, that's a very short and sweet introduction. Previously, I have been an entrepreneur as well, building
Yeah,
AI
yeah.
products myself. But yeah, this is where I am right now, and lovely to be in this conversation, Hari.
Thank you for for having for being here. I think your background in entrepreneurship is something that it will be very interesting. We'll get to that later. But maybe just tell us a little bit of the kinds of AI projects and industry partners that you typically deal with. Your role in AI Singapore is quite unique, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. Okay. So we actually deal with a variety of industry partners. We've got projects in the manufacturing, fintech, health tech, and many other different industries. Some of the retail brands that you can see in Singapore. We work with them and all across different use cases in marketing, product, in operations, and so on and so forth, including HR and recruitment as well. So
Mm.
we've got a whole bunch of different projects going on, and our core here really at the work that I do and the work that my team does is to ensure customer, or rather say industry partner success in the way they deploy and utilize AI
Mm-hmm.
for solving their business cases. So we particularly work on minimum viable models.
Right.
So this is taken from the whole product development manifesto, where you're
Right.
really focusing on building small, workable solutions in the first 3 months and iterating very quickly. So that's where we come in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've had guests from different functions, right? So I think it's coming from your unique perspective is definitely
Yeah.
going to be very, very helpful for our listeners. Is this a question I ask all my guests so far? In terms of AI adoption, right? There's a lot of hype, there's a lot of excitement around AI right now. What is your take on this, and what do you think organizations misunderstand the most about AI adoption?
Right. Okay. So many things, but I will just start from the fact that the hype is in a way good because uh, it is it is not as much as a hype as much as people are actually experimenting, businesses
Mm.
are actually experimenting with these solutions, so that makes it less of a hype, more of a thing that people are trying to do and solve business problems with it, right? Now coming to your part, the second part of the question is that they treat it like a digital transformation project sometimes,
Mhm.
which requires things to be very deterministic, right?
Okay.
Deterministic in the sense like you have a digital solution, it can do so and so things. They don't expect it to do anything other than that. But AI is not like that. It is a large
Mhm.
language model, highly undeterministic, which means
Yeah.
one response from the model will be different from the second response that it will give. So it behaves like a human, right? It behaves with the ability to make mistakes. And I think this is where, and this is what causes industries to see a big difference between a POC project and a live production project.
Right.
So this is one of the areas that they really struggle, or that I'm seeing them struggle. But it can systematically also be corrected so that you actually get high ROI in production level solutions as well. But there is a process to it. And apart from that, when it comes to people, the second part is when it comes to people, we do have, so, okay, AI actually fundamentally changes the way people work today. So think about
Yeah.
it. Before The way you would do your work would be different. The way I would do project management or product building would be very different. So today, with all these tools around, you're fundamentally changing what you're doing. Maybe almost 60 to 70% of your work is getting automated by one of these agents, right? So that change management aspect is what can actually make a project success or not. So it's even
Mm.
more difficult. I would not say difficult. Okay, it's even more challenging in the way that rolling out an AI solution requires a bit of empathy with the people who are actually doing it. So
Right.
with these two, constant iteration and empathy, we can get to high successes. But generally, this is what I see is the challenges or what the industry gets wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think change management approach is something yeah, very very clear, and you could touch on why it's different from normal, data digital transformation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I speak to business leaders, and I think many people still think of it as a traditional transformation. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about you mentioned POCs, right? Coming up with MVPs and all that. Do you feel how have the way you work or the way businesses
Yeah.
around you work changed a little bit actually?
Yeah. Okay. So maybe let me just explain a bit of the jargons that I've used here right now, so that it's a little bit clear for everyone as well. POC is essentially proof of concept. You really don't
Mm,
know if it is going to work out,
yeah,
and that comes at a much early stage within the whole product development life cycle. But what we're talking about is minimum viable products, which
yeah.
means so it comes again from product management. So it has to be minimal, which means no fluff in the product. Viable, which means it has to be viable to the business. That means it works, right? It's not
Mm,
something that we're testing out if it works or not. So it has to be working. And here we are talking about models. So MVM is minimum viable models. So when it comes to models, these are actually data pipeline plus models and inferencing pipelines that we all put together to solve a specific business problem. So it confirm works, right? At the end of the day, the way it is scoped, or the industry partner team at AI Singapore scopes it out, is so that you actually have a good success at the end of the 3 months. Now, from there onwards, you think about productionizing and scaling. So it's
mm,
much more closer to production than a POC is at this stage, right? So I think this is what businesses should do more.
mm,
Initially, at the use case level, you're still figuring out if this can work, POCs can happen or not. Then for that, small experiments is fine. Small demos are more than enough. Even a pre-sales team with their limited resources can do such demos
mm,
right up front, right? But then you should sort of think about, you take one use case that has the highest ROI or the highest impact,
mm,
and then schedule or work around those 3 months and create that specific MVP. Like basically, we have a very tight use case for
yeah,
it. And yeah, that's how you scope it down. And then once you build that MVP, measure the right metrics. So this can be leading indicators. This can also be eventually the outcomes on your ROI measurable. So it could be time, productivity, cost, whatever comes for your
mm,
project, right? Uh, Based on that, you can actually prove that this is actually working, and then this path to scalability gets much more closer. So yeah, this is what I feel businesses should be doing. With us, at least with AI Singapore, we tend to drive that narrative a lot,
right.
and hence our partners definitely do it. I do not know about the others who don't work with us, but yeah, this is a proven way of doing things. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for sharing. I think we talked about AI ROI, right?
Mhm.
And the trial and error environment of AI implementation. How can organizations measure ROI of AI usage better then?
Mhm. Okay, so at the core, Hari, I would say that AI today really helps with doing things at a way more faster speed than we've
Mm.
done before. So most of the time it is measured by how quickly we can do things. So increase in productivity, reduction in time. And often these tend to have an indirect cost that is related to it. It could be cost of time to a certain outcome that
Mm-hmm.
used to be there before. That has now getting is now getting much lesser. In fact, if you see roughly across all the projects that we've done, and maybe I'm being a bit conservative here, but we're seeing almost benchmarked at around 70% increase in productivity when a certain model is used. And now this is
Mm.
across different departments. So the nuances are very again different in different departments. Some departments can have much more high ROI. On an
Right.
average, we're seeing about 70 to 75%. And I think that shows the testament of what is here. It is not perfect yet, and we're yet to see like a product that is running with massive amount of usage on a per day basis for a specific business use case. But otherwise, you're seeing chat GPTs and stuff. They're running massively well. Yeah, that's the ROI part.
Right. Okay. Okay. So if we have a time frame, right? The first an
Mm,
organization is deciding to step into this
yeah.
AI methodology or technology, right? How
Mm,
how would you advise organizations to realistically measure this AI ROI in the first 30
yeah.
to 90 days?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, so in a sense, let's say let's assume that the organization already has a AI team,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is there. And they know a couple of use cases. They've probably run small POCs, and they have found out a problem statement that has a high pain point, and hence that will push the ROI of it up as well. So let's assume all of this is done, and they start working on a minimum viable model
Mm.
that can be used for this particular use case. Then let's imagine they have worked for 3 months and it is launched in production. So the first 30 days, I would like a product manager who's running this should possibly be measuring if the work that the new model is doing in assisting the use case is actually genuinely better than what they used to do before. Now, this is from a
Mm.
qualitative perspective, not yet numbers. Yeah. So let's say, let me give an example. So let's say I, in the marketing department, my job is to look at the brands that are coming in or the brand assets that are coming in and seeing if it is in line with my brand, with my company's brand guidelines. So let's take that as the use case. So now in this case, maybe I would spend about 2 to 3 days looking at around 20, 30 to more, let's say 100 assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's already fast. 2 to 3 days for 100 assets is quite a bit. But let's assume that's the amount of time, about a week I take to approve this. Then in the first 30 days, the AI product manager should actually see if the person is doing this well, using this well, and actually reducing it. So getting the feedback from this business user on whether the model is actually helping or is adding more work to this person, or is it actually helping. So that is the first 30 days of measurements, and you can design experiments around it. You can ask questions around this. It can be really qualitative. Then once you have some data, some result from it where you need to improve, you would be fixing things and improving and pushing new models already in the first 30
Mm.
to 60 days. Then after that, in the next 60 days, you're more confident that the model can actually do its work, and we can scale this up to another. Maybe we start with one analyst, brand analyst, right? We
Mm-hmm.
can now scale it to 10 brand analysts, 20 brand
Mm-hmm.
analysts. That's a
Mm.
small time. Now here you get quantitative. You start looking at how often these analysts are using your model.
Mm.
So you're looking at numbers at this point, right? How many times they are running this thing? How much of confidence the model is actually giving out, right? So the
Mm.
confidence scores, recall scores, all the usual metrics that you have to measure a good model. You would be tracking these. These are all leading indicators eventually.
Mm.
Now that is your next 60 days. post 60 days, you're already in a much more stable situation. You start thinking about improving this, improving the usability and the other aspects of this product before you scale it up to more number of people, more number of analysts in this case.
Mm.
So last 90 days is really measuring the full transformation that you have. Now, let's say you've scaled it up to so many people over a period of time. Sorry, how often are these guys actually using this on a day-to-day basis? Have they really transformed their work? And has the productivity overall across 200 analysts gone up for the client? Now, this is the number you can take, and you can go to your CIO or your CTO or the C-suite and say, this is what it relates to in terms of dollar numbers. And
Mm.
then you have a success. Yeah.
I see. I see. Okay. Thanks for the detailed breakdown. So I think the key things that you mentioned is having a AI team, having
Mhm.
POCs, then starting to work on MVPs, and then
Yeah.
different stages of what you do in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
Mhm.
Eventually, when you scale, and then you have data where you can show the productivity and how it has transformed work.
Yeah.
Then you can bring up to C-suite where we can, scale even more or continue using, right? I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
did I get it right? Did I get it? Anything
Yeah,
else you want
that's
to add?
exactly right. Yeah, and you should do this for all the painful use cases. Yeah, that are there.
Mm. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's really good. I think the point on the AI team that I think we spoke of
Mm.
this offhand, right?
Mm.
You mentioned this is quite important, right? Having an AI
Yeah.
team in place. Can
Yeah.
you maybe share a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think like in terms of the hard skills, right? You would
Hmm.
definitely want to have people who can build these solutions well. AI engineers coming from data science backgrounds, great to have because they understand the core model building, data cleaning, pipelines, and stuff. Then you should definitely have people who've done software engineering before. So
Hmm.
they may not be AI engineers, but they can be AI developers or however you want to term them. But they are people who can quickly build products out of the scratch, right? Like immediately. And then finally, you should definitely have an AI product manager because these are the guys who will experiment. They will come up with experiments just like a scientist, but inside an
Hmm.
organization, right? Look at input variables, keep things constant. How does it impact the output of something? And just this team, this small team of not more than six, can lead to a lot of cool things that the
Hmm.
business can do. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think that's very crucial, especially for new organizations who don't have an AI team at all. I think that's very good,
Yeah.
sound advice. Thank you for that. I think our listeners will definitely benefit. Yeah, so now maybe I just want to come back to you, right?
Yeah.
Before joining AI Singapore, you were an entrepreneur yourself.
Yes.
We talked about, the change management, how fear and inertia can affect individuals in an organization. So
Yeah.
that's a key part, right? The mindset and how you manage the people, the empathy you talked about.
Mhm.
Um, do you think, an entrepreneurial mindset has helped with AI usage in your perspective and, from the organizations that you work with? Can you
Mm.
share with us
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little bit from that point of view?
Definitely. I think what entrepreneurs do very well is learn how to do more with little.
Mm.
That's one. Second, they are very good at defining problems, like
Mm-hmm.
and quantifying it. How bad is a certain problem? They're able to validate the problem before even starting to work on it. So I
Mm.
think just these two aspects make entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs in many organizations uh, actually very good candidates for running AI projects, especially
Mm.
when the use case and everything is vague and not really concretely defined. So apart from this, they are also very good at creating talents dense teams, which means one person in that team is actually carrying the weight, just like everyone
Mm.
else, not slacking, right? So they're very good at doing this. So yeah, to answer your question, uh, very briefly, Hari, yeah, if organizations can hire more ex-founders or entrepreneurs who've actually built businesses, should they want to be hired, then it's a great great opportunity. If not as well, organizations can always teach how the
Yeah.
same entrepreneurship principles to within the organizations, create venture arms within their organization that not necessarily look at acquiring technologies, but
Hmm.
also look at how they can improve certain use cases within the organizations itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I asked, right? I mean, not always you're able to get an entrepreneur to join the company,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
mindset shift can be there within the organization. For an
Yeah. Yeah.
individual who's listening to the podcast right now, this could be something that they take into account, right? What kind of mindset do you have to go into if you're to tackle this AI problem or adoption,
Mm.
right? So I think
Yeah.
you mentioned a few characteristics of how
Yeah.
an entrepreneur mindset works. So, people
Right.
can take this into their own life and try to learn AI and improve their own AI adoption as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but could you share with us, if you don't mind, right? Maybe an
Yeah.
example of how did you, adopt an AI technology or tool or something, maybe in the recently, um, in this
Mm.
way? Like, what was your thought process? What was your flow when you face challenges? Did you feel like, oh, this is going to take over my job, or why or is it something too difficult? How
Yeah.
do you break down the learning stage?
Okay. So personally, I've like ever since like not just AI, any kind of technology sort of comes out, whether it has been AI, blockchain, or whatever. I've always been one of the first few people to try it out and see how
Mm,
that what it can lead to, right? So when it particularly comes to tools like I use it to build a lot of things. It's just within my organization. I realized that there were tools that we were using that were not commonly used between all the other PMs as well, and
mm,
ended up building a tool for everybody to use so that we could not just have a plan, like have a tool for within the company, but also capture the right data so that we can make better decisions and improve our work later.
right.
So I've never been afraid of AI. I mean, maybe because I'm an entrepreneur, there has been times when I didn't have to really think about jobs or job security. This comes as a luxury for entrepreneur. They never think this way actually. So for AI taking up jobs, I think instead of thinking about it from that perspective, think about how you can use it as your teammate to add more value to the work that
Mm,
you're already doing. And this could be value that you can add to your team. It could be to the extended team outside of what you're doing
right.
also, right? And many things. Like, I think it's important to be curious and explorative, and that is what will make you as a person valuable, regardless of even if 90% of your job gets done by AI, which is great. You did it. You replaced yourself. Now move on to the next thing that you can add. Yeah.
Yeah, use AI as your teammate. That's the first, but I think that's
Yes.
really puts AI into context actually.
Yeah.
So even with all the advancements in AI, right? What challenges
Yeah.
do you think that entrepreneurs still fundamentally face today?
Oh yeah, so okay. So one of the biggest challenge, and I think if you ask any entrepreneur, just pick one from the crowd, you ask them will answer this question. But distribution, right? You can
Mm,
build things today. Code is very, very cheap to write. But how do you get it out to the world, to the people?
yeah,
And how can they actually use it? Which which is the biggest challenge, and it is being solved in different ways. There are communities, there are many things that's happening, but distribution of the product is the biggest challenge. Yeah.
right. All right. I want to end this off by asking two questions, right?
Okay.
So first, what do non-technical professionals,
Mhm.
someone who doesn't come from a tech background, who doesn't know anything about, software or AI, right? What do
Yeah.
they need to do from today to improve their
Mhm.
AI fluency beyond just, try entering some prompts into a chat agent?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
that's the
So I
first one.
mean,
Yeah.
Copilot's fine. It's great. It is definitely one thing that uh, we are doing to improve your fluency. But I personally try to keep abreast of the changes that's happening in the environment, and that means following people who are absolutely at the helm of it, right?
Mm.
So companies that have actually introduced AI to our world, so follow those. And I usually use X, which used to be Twitter, to get the latest updates on what is happening in this world. And I think most people tend to use that. It's far better than a LinkedIn or a Bloomberg or whatever it is that is coming in.
All right.
It's directly from the companies itself, and the people who are building it. So one of the biggest thing is just keeping yourself abreast with all these tools and technologies. And second thing, when you use these tools and technologies, when you get to know about it, use it in your own work. See how that can help. Like a bit late, but yesterday I got to know about Whisper Flow and how LinkedIn's founder has stopped using his keyboard. Literally, he's
Mm.
just using voice to do all his work. So I have been doing that and setting it up in my computer today as well. And I've been writing emails with just voice and doing the lame work. But then eventually you would start to see how much of value you can actually derive from these tools. So I think that is important to become more AI fluent. And you don't need to be a tech person in this. Just download, run the software, and try to use it. That's about it, right? So that, and the third thing, apart from learning and seeing it can improve you to do your own work,
Mm.
is actually experimentation.
Mm.
So the art of learning how to experiment is very crucial. It is, our secondary Sec 3 or Sec 4 syllabuses where you are learning the art of experimentation. I think it's time to bring it back, do it in your own job, and it will help you form much stronger opinions, much more data driven opinions. So I think that is also very important. Finally, with AI Singapore, actually, we've got a lot of interesting courses. So you can go to learn.aisingapore.org. Lots of free courses for AI fluency, data camps, and stuff that you can pick up from there and learn. What we also have is our AI program, which teaches you experimentation really well.
Mm.
Sorry for the plug-in, but this is, and I'm telling you because I work with the apprentices with the industry partners, and I see them in every project that we do. These guys are evaluating 10 plus over models to just see if the model fits into this particular use case.
Right.
That is experimentation on steroids, right? So it's a full-time stipend-driven program, takes 6 to 9 months. So if that is something that's of interest, definitely do apply. But even if full-time is not your thing, I think we have this AIAP Foundation course that you can do. So yeah, all this can be found in aiap.sg. Right? These two websites can totally help you become more AI fluent.
Right, right. I think it's refreshing for people to hear that everyone is still learning, right? Everyone is still
Yeah,
experimenting, and you don't need to code, like you mentioned. Just download the tools
yeah,
that you have available. You can start improving your productivity, and
correct.
slowly start from there, right?
Yeah.
So the other questions that I have, right, before we close off is, for people interested in AI careers, what kind of skills do you think will be most valuable over the next few years?
Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So the ability to learn and the ability to experiment.
Mm.
So ability to learn would be to just, as I mentioned, keep abreast with what is out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you might just go down the rabbit hole with it, but that's good because that'll help you with exploration. So having that time to learn, doing as hands-on as possible, especially if you're very high up in the organization,
Yeah.
always code. Don't try to, even if you're a non-techie, right? Try to get as close as you can to the tech tools and the code if you're interested, right? Because it gives a whole different level of understanding of the technology. So yeah, learn. And second is experiment. As I said, go back to your Sec 3, Sec 4 textbooks, see how to
Mm.
run and design a good experiment, do this in your life. And the opinions you will create after that will make you stand out in front of any any boardroom
Mm.
or any investor meeting or just any team meeting, right? It'll just help you stand out. Yeah.
That's brilliant because in the age of AI, where a lot of things are
Yeah.
being replaced, it's not about
Yeah.
the hard skill, it's about the mindset, right? Like you said, like the
The
ability to
mindset.
learn and the
Yeah.
willingness to experiment.
Yeah.
I agree with that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. I think so as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so thank you for your time, for answering all the questions and sharing insights of how the AI Singapore runs and how you're working with different organizations, right? I think this can be really helpful to our listeners and those who are interested to pick up AI skills as well. There are a lot of things that you shared that will be helpful for them. Yes, to all listening, I hope you got some value from this podcast. Um, until the next time, catch you again. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Hari. Lovely being here. See you.